Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw number 232, another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So as ever, let's crack on. First one is Craftgpt. Now this is by Minecraft legend Sami Yuri, who is otherwise a legend for making Minecraft inside Minecraft, and now he's a legend for making ChatGPT in Minecraft. So what you're seeing here is a sped up version of the video, making all the memory modules. There's a brilliant video behind this as well, so I do implore you to go and have a look at that. But what you get at the end of this is 5 million parameters and a small language model. When you ask it something, it will give you an answer, but it will take about 2 hours to do that. So totally useless, but I'm glad people are doing this because humans are awesome. So there you go. If you're interested, brilliant video, go and have a watch of that. This is Sora2, and this is OpenAI's answer to Google VO3. So now the OpenAI platform, ChatGPT, etc., has a video model that also has audio. As you can see, here's Sam Altman showing you it in the premiere video, and he's using the cameo feature quite a lot here, which is you can put yourself or other people into videos. Now, if your friends give you permission to, or celebrities give you permission to, you can just add them into videos. So you can make, mates videos, for instance, which is interesting. There's a dedicated app on iPhone. I think it's coming to Android, of course it is. So you can put your AI slop straight into TikTok and Instagram. Great physics in this as well. So there you go, good example, right on cue. And also there's some content safeguards as well for youngsters, under 18 that is. So apparently it detects what you're trying to generate and whether you should be doing it and blocks it, etc. Now there's also a bit of a vagueness around the copyright status of any of this because, quite frankly, it's a large language model or it's a diffusion model that's trained on, let's just say, untraceable data, and copyright issues abound. There was an opt-in and an opt-out conversation, so nobody's quite sure whether you stand on this, whether your content will appear in this, or whether you own any of it either. So it's still a little bit vague, shall we say. So use at your own risk. This is OpenAI after all. This is a strange one, not exactly fun, but it's worth mentioning. This is certainly what I've been researching this week. It's fibre-optic drones, and especially the pollution coming out of these. So obviously the conflict in Ukraine is an absolutely terrible thing, and if you're using drones, which obviously are being used more and more and more, again, horrific. However, they can also be blocked by electrical signal jamming as well. So what is now being used is fibre optic, so a little can underneath the drone, and that can be, I think, about 45 kilometers long. So the controller is really on the end of a piece of string, essentially, and they're controlling it through data through the fibre optic cable. But what that's now doing is it's laying essentially tens of millions of kilometers of fibre optic cable into the countryside in Ukraine. So this is going to be a huge cleanup. There's got a lot of information about sort of the environmental impact just of the fibre optic cables alone. So, so there you go. So there's really no good news coming out of it as well. And here's some worse, but it's interesting. That's why it's in here. There you go. Bitrig is an interesting one. This is vibe coding for iPhone apps. If you ever wanted to make an iPhone app but you didn't know how to do it, then it actually uses the Swift platform, or you can use the Swift platform, sort of native iOS. It's always been a bit tricky. You needed to know a boffin to be able to do it, but now you can do it directly in your phone, on your phone, just using vibe coding and essentially using your voice. So you describe what you want and you just sneak up on the solution. You just keep asking it to do the amends and it does the amend, i.e. vibe coding. So once you've done it, you can then connect it to your iTunes account or your Apple account, sorry, and then you can then deploy the app to the App Store, or you can actually do it onto other devices using TestFlight, which gives essentially, it installs it onto authorized devices. So there you go. If you've ever wanted to make an iPhone app, then now you can using Bitrig. There you go. Interesting. The acting world, Hollywood, is losing its mind this week over the AI Tilly Norwood. So Tilly Norwood is an AI model. I can't quite understand what the furore is about this, in as much as these models have existed for years now, AI actors, and this is no different. So I don't quite know why this one's hit a nerve, but there you go. Lots of people have come out against it in Hollywood, saying this is an abomination, which, okay, fine. However, the creator of it has also come up with a statement, which is on the Instagram group, but yeah, there you go. So I'm not quite sure why that's an issue, but if you didn't know what Tilly Norwood was, or you're just interested, you have heard about it, but you haven't really done, it's basically an AI model model that's been trained to look like this person, and then there's a few really sort of rough videos. These are okay, but there's some really bad ones, you know, they're fighting a dragon and stuff like that, that just look like really badly generated videos. There you go, good example just here. So that's not a great video. Anybody can make that, so I don't know why people are losing their minds, but there you go. That's Tilly Norwood. Dutch authorities, this is the Dutch Data Protection Authority, otherwise known as AP, and they have written a report, and part of the report is recommending this. Organisations that use chatbots in their services must always offer people the option to speak with a representative, i.e. a human. And these must be fair, recognisable and accessible options, and people must not be misled, i.e. a lot of people are going to these things saying, if you don't want to use the bot, then we'll speak to another human, and they'll actually put you onto another bot as well. So it's really interesting. We're starting to see maybe the Tilly thing we've just seen, but also maybe we're looking at this, look, do you know what, chatbots have got a bit out of control. They're not really helping. They're a cheap way of doing certain things, and there's no quality in them as well, and people deserve better. So they're now also talking to the European Commission and advising them to say, look, we need to actually set some regulation behind this. So this might be the start of the curve where, you know, humans start to actually get a little bit more service from actual humans again. There you go. Interesting. And finally, we have the NIO ET9, which is a car from China, from NIO. And you can see on the right-hand side, it has this thing called Skyride suspension, which is bonkers. You can see some champagne glasses on the bonnet there, or hood, and it's going over some bumps. But you can also see on the left-hand side, somebody playing a game in the car, and it's using as like a sort of physics force feedback kind of rig. So you can play the game in the parking lot, and you can then bump up and down. Now, obviously, in the olden days, it looked like somebody's doing something dodgy in the car if it's rocking up and down like that. However, now it might just be somebody playing a game. There you go. Interesting. Good use of suspension in a car. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully it was useful. If it was, give it a like, and I will see you next week.